So this is the handover for the Globecar Roadscout Elegance. We'll begin on the outside with the toilet system. Toilet cassette, lockable door. Just inside toilet cassette, you'll see your cassette itself, and pull up on the green lever, pull up on the blue lever, and slide the cassette all the way out. On a campsite, you have collection points for these to go into. Make sure they go into the appropriate positions. Take the blue cap off completely, tip the whole cassette up, and press this blue button at this end, and that allows all of the waste to go out. Before you load it back in, use the measuring cup, which is inside the top of the cap, up to a capful of the chemical. Up here in the Highlands, we recommend the green, or a sachet, mixed with around about 2 litres of water, and then push it back in. And as it goes back in, it should load back into position. Further along the vehicle, just on the skirt, you'll come across this valve. You'll get a tool that's supplied with it, and when you insert the tool onto it and twist it through 90 degrees, it allows the drain valve to open onto your grey water, so you can discharge and empty the grey water. Grey water comes from your shower tray, from your vanity unit, and from your kitchen sink, and then turn it back through 90 degrees to close it off again. Exhaust vent for the heating system. If it's running on gas, you'll notice a lot of heat coming off of it. With the mains hookup, always make sure that you plug into the side of the van first of all. To remove the plug, like so, hold it at 90 degrees, and then push the plug back in to the side and connect it to your main supply accordingly. When you open up the back doors, you've got your access to your gas locker. So in on the left hand side, you've got your gas cylinder. On top, you've got a brass nut. When you turn it clockwise, you turn the gas supply off. When you turn it anti-clockwise, you turn the gas on. It feeds through a regulator, which then goes through a couple of isolation taps for the individual appliances. As long as you switch the gas supply off of the bottle when you depart, then you're safe. You fill the fresh water tank by using a hose pipe straight into your nozzle. It starts to overflow, it's an indication that it's full. There's also a gauge on the display. To drain it off, which you would do for winter storage, then there's cover underneath the bed frame, and down on the right hand side you've got this little wheel, and when you open it 3/4 of the way, it'll leave you with a travel weight of around about 20 litres of water in the system. If you open it fully by turning it twice, then it will completely open it, and it will allow the content of the fresh water tank to drain out. There's an inspection hatch adjacent, which you can put solvents or cleaners in if you need to, for cleaning or sterilising the tank system out. The water heater also has its own drain valve on it. This one is thermostatically controlled. At the moment, the blue tab on top of the valve is in an inline position with the pipe, so it's allowing the water system to flow through. In the event of the air temperature in this space going below around about 2 degrees centigrade, that valve will automatically open. It turns through 90 degrees and it allows the water heater to discharge out onto the floor of the van. To reset it, turn it back through 90 degrees and press the small blue button at the base of the casing back in, and that should seal off the valve. So when you first open the sliding door, you will see a step switch on the inside right hand side of the frame. Press the switch up and down in order to allow the step to retract or extend. These steps don't retract on ignition, so if you start the vehicle up, you'll hear a buzzer sound in the cab telling you that the step is still out. So with the vehicle fuel cap, you open up the exterior door. It's not affected by the central locking. Ignition key in, turn the key anti-clockwise, pull the cap out, hang it on the hook at the bottom of the door. This has also got the AdBlue system on it. There's an indicator which will come on the dashboard indicating when it needs to be topped up. It's just a matter of just unscrewing the cap and topping up, like so. Underneath the passenger floor, you have your engine battery. Below the passenger seat, you've got your ancillary electrics systems and fuse boxes. And then just inside the end of the dashboard, you've got your bonnet release. Pull back on that one, and you should be able to open the bonnet externally. So to open the bonnet, it's a centrally located lever. Push up on that one. Put your stay into position. Over on the left-hand side, you've got your screen washer, and then brake fluid, power steering fluid, and radiator reservoir. Oil filler cap centrally located, and then your dipstick just in front. Because of the position of the engine battery, if you do need to jump start, there's a protective cover which goes over this paddle on the right hand side. Attach your positive lead onto there, and then the negative goes onto this bolt centrally located. So when you first come into the motorhome, above the sliding door, you've got this Globecar and Truma control panel. Your Globecar control panel is showing an amber light at the moment because we're currently plugged into the main supply. Below that, you have a 12-volt switch which turns on your leisure battery. Indicators on the left-hand side give you your leisure battery reading, your fresh water reading, and your grey water tank readings as well. You've got a USB port up on this side for USB charging, and then centrally located your Truma water heater. To use the water heater, you need to make sure that the drain valve, as we've already shown you, is closed. Turn on your hot tap and draw water through the system so that you have a consistent flow. Repeat this with the vanity unit. So with the water heater system, you've drawn water through the unit. You can turn the center unit on by pressing this central button. Press and hold it in for a couple of seconds and you'll see the display characters light up. The middle row is telling you what systems are available for you to use. So if you wanted to use the room heating, for example, then tap on that symbol and then increase or decrease to turn the heating system on or off accordingly. It's a similar story with the water heater. You can set it to an eco mode or a hot mode, which will heat the water to 40 or 60 degrees, or periodically you can set it up to run onto a boost. To turn the water heater off, just turn it back to the off position, press on the tab, and you'll see then that the symbol goes out. Your utility is chosen by this symbol on the end. You can have it on a gas only mode if you were wild camping. If you were on electric, you can use it on a low or high amperage setting, depending on the amperage that's available for you to use on a campsite. And then you can combine it with gas, either on a high setting like we have here, or on a low setting for the electric mix as well. With the heating system turned off as well as the water heating, although this has a blown air function that works with heating, you can just opt to use the fan on its own. So go onto the fan symbol at the end, choose vent, and then you can increase or decrease the speed of the fan for air circulation inside the van. Everything that I've gone through you can set up on a timer control, so if you wish you can have the water heating and perhaps the room heating coming on tomorrow at say 8 o'clock and then going off at say 6. You can set that up via a clock, so when you go into the clock setting you can set it up to the required or current time, and there's a settings mode at the end if you need to make any adjustments or perhaps reset the control panel. With the solar panel being fitted up onto the roof, you have rudimentary information available to you with regard to the battery voltage that's in the system and any input or output that's coming from the system. Both batteries have been connected to the solar panel. I've already mentioned these further earlier on in the handover. You've got two isolator taps. The middle one's redundant, the bottom one for the hob, the top one for the gas supply to the water heating room heating system. If they're in the horizontal position, they are turned on. If they're turned through 90 degrees, then it isolates the supply to that specific appliance. When you light up the gas, you've got gas taps at the back of the sink unit. Use your igniter and your gas flow should come through straight away. However, make sure that the gas supply is completely switched off and the hob cooled before you bring down the lid. Any residual heat or direct heat will cause the glass to shatter or explode. 12-volt control panel for the fridge is above the hob and sink. Press in on the panel for a couple of seconds for the panel to turn on. Performance mode is where it will start up initially to get the fridge cold. You can change the modes for nighttime use to a quiet mode, or if you feel that the temperature settings have changed, then you can put it into a boost mode and increase the performance within the fridge. You can also manually change the temperature within the fridge by using the temperature button at the end as well. Your Tech for Toilet cassette has a swivel bolt function, so you can manoeuvre into your required position. Lift up seat, pull the lever on the side of the seat forward to allow the wastegate to open, and then to flush the loo, press the blue button over on the right hand side. An indicator on the backhand side of the basin will tell you how full the cassette is. The windows on the side of the van have separate buttons on their individual latches for you to open, and then they have a damper type arrangement on the side for opening and closing. For the fly screen, pull down from the top and latch on to the base, and then for the line, bring it up to the top. You can join the two together and it can show you closure as such. The back windows are slightly different to the side windows, so you have normal levers which you push open, and then on each of the stems there are winders which will support the blinds, and then a different fly screen to come down or a blind to come up. The roof light operation: pull down the handle and then twist accordingly to open up and set it into your desired position. These also have fly screens and blinds for your use for daytime and nighttime. When you wind it back down, keep turning and you'll see a red indicator appear in the chamber there, indicating that the lever is fully shut. When you go underneath the bed on the right hand side, you've got this inspection cover which puts you down to access for the water heater, but also at the back you have an access panel for your mains RCD unit. Main supply can be switched off at the back. Also, when you turn it on, you can also carry out a test sequence to make sure that the main supply is safe for you to use by pressing the small blue tab. Otherwise, bring the main supply up, and that will connect up to your power sockets as well as your battery charger. The cab controls start over on the right hand side. You've got headlamp adjustment for the vehicle being laden, and adjacent to that a rear fog light. The stalk on the right hand side is for your wiper controls with a trip function button as well. Pull back if you want to rinse the windscreen. On the door you've got electric mirror adjustment as well as electric windows. With the ignition on, you should be able to turn and use the joystick then to adjust the mirrors that you've selected. On the left hand side of the stalk, the top stalk is for your lights as well as for your indicator controls, and pull back for main beam. Below you've got your cruise control and speed limiters for speed management. Gear lever on this one, if you want to select for reverse, pull up on the central collar, push the lever over and away, and that will also turn on your reversing camera automatically. The lower switches are for your heated mirrors, for central locking, hazard light switch, hill descent and traction control. And then you have ventilation controls for the speed and temperature of the fan, as well as your air conditioning. And then the direction of the fan drawing from the airflow from outside or recirculating internally, and then the direction around the inside of the cab. Your stereo controls, you have a main on-off switch which is centrally located, and then you have the ability to choose menu options which include your DAB radio as well as your navigation, and each of those will load up accordingly. the pull-up dashboard, pull up on this lever at the back, use the side lever, and it will open up and allow for the holding of mobile phones or tablets if they're required. Hold the tabs over and close it back into position. And there are USB and 12-volt sockets available for charging, as well as additional USB which connect up to the media head unit. On the dashboard, you've got your module for the satellite navigation system, and on the windscreen, your DAB aerial. The blinds, pull the tabs together. They are magnetically linked to each other, so draw them together centrally and they should hold. And it's a similar story with the cab windows, side windows. Draw those forward to secure. So that concludes the handover for your van. Sincerely hope that this van's going to give you lots of miles and lots of smiles. But if you do need to get in contact with us, then do so. But on behalf of the Highland Camper Vans, thank you.